Good morning, good day, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official 6th live stream of DrTorment. Welcome, welcome. Now let's see who's all made it here, eh? I see Infinite Skycosis has arrived. Welcome. That reminds me, I do have some entrails skip rope on just to the left of the waiting room for you, Psychosis. So, by all means, they are all yours. You can take them back home and do send the others my regards. And who else do we have here? Cindy, Marty, welcome, welcome. Lulu, our favorite bartender and a channel member, welcome. Oh, before I forget, Jinxie, our beloved moderator for today and, well, basically every other day. I would say welcome, but she has to be here, so, yeah. Here we all are. It has been a minute since we did another live stream, eh? I mean, the last time was somewhere in, I believe, in September, basically addressing the technical issues that had been happening on my end. Now, do we still have those issues? Well, we're reeling back from it. I am reeling back from it. Slowly but surely, I'm remaking the stories that I lost during those technical issues, unfortunately. One of those stories has recently aired. It Ate My Sister, or I Hunted the Wendigo That Ate My Sister. Production-wise, I'm very proud of it, even though it was 4 days of non-stop editing, and I slept maybe about 3 hours during that process. So, as I said, very proud of that one production-wise. Everybody involved did very well. TJ Hodder from the Tapes of Trepidation was the guest narrator for that one. Tanner Wood from Baseline Feed played Ranger Dan, and Liliana Roman, a very talented voice actor in her own right, also voiced a character I like to call Ranger Lily. Ah, House of Jen, welcome, another dearly beloved channel member of the Asylum and an inmate, just like Lulu. Welcome, Jen, welcome. Take a seat, pull yourself up. Oh, Jinx has said something. He has me tied to his desk with a cattle prod, waiting if I try to escape. No, not at all. Not a cattle prod. What are you talking about? A sandpaper machine. Why would I use a cattle prod? Jeez, I'm not cruel like that. I just have a sandpaper machine for that. Please, Jinxie, please. Manners. Just so I know, does the audio sound okay for everyone, by the way? Just that I know that everything is alright on my end. It doesn't sound weird or anything like that. Sounds fine. Excellent. Lulubelle says yes. Most excellent, most excellent. Now, what do we have in store today? I do not intend to stay too long, but I still want to make it a little bit substantial because I have some time to make up, don't I? For the channel members amongst you, there is a channel member and Patreon exclusive video that has recently come out, specially requested from Jinxie, who's also the oldest Patreon member of the Asylum. She is also in the Altered Child tier, so she can make special requests like these. And she has also permitted me to release the video, so long it is exclusive. So enjoy it. It's a little poem that I wrote myself. I made a little video around it. And it's a happy birthday to her daughter Cheeps. So enjoy. Enjoy. And for other stuffs, I do have several readings ready to go. I found myself in Halloween spirits because the month is upon us. The month of the spookiness and all things creepy. And I did find myself a few stories, all from the same author, mind you. Or at least some of them from the same author, but I felt they had the right spooky, witchy, weird vibe you would have on Halloween. But before I will continue into that, do tell, how have you all been? How have you all been? Jen, Lulu, Cindy, Marty, how have you all been? Grim Reader, hey DrTorment, love your vids, great inspiration and motivation for us. Keep them going, have a great stream. Thank you, Grim Reader, thank you very much. By all means, if you need, if you want my voice for any of your projects, just let me know, man. Happy to help out if I can. And of course, vice versa. While I'm waiting for the replies how everybody is doing, let me just get the stories ready for the live readings. Lulu Bell, I am fine, just another year older since your last... Oh, happy belated birthday, Lulu! Happy belated birthday! Did I miss it? Did I miss it? That was your birthday? I'm so sorry for that. Cindy is doing fine. That is good, that is good. So long everybody is doing fine, I'm happy with that as well. Now let us hope those legendary crashes won't happen too, eh? Because, oof, my streams at this point should be notorious for the crashes. Prefer not. It always happens when I want to transition. I do not know why. It must be a Streamlabs thing. Nurse of Jen. I am in hiding. The family has decided to watch Talladega Nights and I'm trying to get my spooky on. Yeah. I hope you find a good hidey hole there, Jen. I really hope you did. Marty says, happy birthday to all November peeps. November already? No, we're still October. We're still October. Although, maybe in the future, if there are future watchers, and it happens to be November, yes, happy birthday to you all, of course, but at the moment of this live stream, it is October. So, suck it. There's my sip glass. Oh, that's a good sip. That's a good one. Now, of course, I cannot say what I'm drinking because YouTube is a boring old, not nice word. Yes, not a nice word. I cannot say what I'm currently digesting, but let me just say that it is not something for young ears, according to YouTube. Okay, October peeps, says Marty. Good. We are still all in the All Hallows Eve mood. Marty, we do not want a November mood in. Yeesh. Hello, Dutchie. Hello. How are you doing? How have you been? House of Jen. Enjoying a brown liquid. I would say goldish brown, really. My brand is Craig. Lulu Bell. I'll have a guess and say it's not water. Yeah, that's a good guess you have there, Lulu. Jinxie, ew, is it water? What? Jinxie, if it was water, I was allowed to say it according to YouTube standards. My god. Keep up. The Duchess of Darkness says, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? I'm fine. I'm reeling back from the a system technical error from September, still making the stories from there on. Still reeling back from that little disaster, but we're getting back on track. That's what's more important. Ooh, that reminds me, Duchess of Darkness is also involved with a big project that I happen to plan for very, very soon. I'm not... And Duchess, do not say what project it is. By the way, it's still very much under wraps. But everybody can expect the 30th on Wednesday, the 30th of October, that is. You can expect a little teaser to drop on the channel. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. Keep your notifications on. It's so nice to hear you again, says Duchess. Well, thank you, thank you. I do have the voice of an angel with the intonation of a devil, I've heard. I'm all for that. Lulu says, Duchess, I'm doing fine, thank you. Just nice seeing Bobby's live. Yes, Bobby, how is he doing, I wonder? Oh, I hope you'll drop by and say hello. Alright, I see Jinxie and Jenna talking about the mic. This is something that happened on the Discord server. We talk about a lot of fun little stuff there. So if you're not yet on the Discord server, do visit the link tree in the description. Let's hang out. Duchess asks, how have you been, good doctor? Yes, yes, of course. I've been a good boy. I've behaved. I'll get all my Halloween presents. And those are those that I bought for myself, but still, they count. I don't care what anybody else says. Do let me know when Lady Spookaria, if she will pop in, that is. If Lady Spookaria comes into the live stream, I've specially picked out a story about a horse. For those who are not in the know, Spookaria has a little, well, obsession is such a nasty word. Let's say appreciation for horses? Yes, let's say it like that. Yes, she has a certain appreciation for horses. And I do have a story ready for her for that. Let me see, but before I will get into that one, how about a nice short one? One to get in a bit of a witchy mood. Something tied to... Well, there's also a Belgian legend about it, I suppose, but nothing like this. House of Gen Fascination. Yes, that is also a word I would use, yes. That reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, after this live is over, there will be a redirect to Duchess of Darkness upcoming video, which is about, I think, Gothic poetry, if I read it right, Duchess? If I remember it correctly, that is. I have a very bad short-term memory, but I know I did redirect it to your upcoming video today. Damn, it's a good one. Smooth. I'll let YouTube guess what I'm drinking. It's been months, God. Now then, without further ado, I'm going to start the first live reading of today. This one is called The Witching Tree by Priestess of Spiders. Now, as you can tell, it has a bit of a witchy theme to it, haunted tree stuff. It is rather short, but don't worry, I have a few longer ones still ready to go. Before I read, have a little look in the chat. The Girl in the Woods. Yes, thank you, Duchess. So, after this live stream is over, when it is over, the stream will automatically redirect everyone that is willing to the story called The Girl in the Woods at the channel of Duchess of Darkness. Once again, I highly recommend the channel if you liked such readings. She also does gothic poetry, by the way. And that is why I was confused before. It sounds spooky. Sounds good, Duchess. Nice Duchess, indeed. Now then, without further ado, written by the Priestess of Spiders, The Witching Tree. Everyone knows about the Witching Tree. Everyone knows that it is different. It is tall and gnarled and has long, spindly branches that reach up to the sky like the rigor mortis legs of a crushed spider. Nobody recalls ever seeing leaves on those branches, but the Witching Tree doesn't feel dead. It doesn't look like any of the other trees around it on the hill at the park. It's not an oak nor a pine, and certainly not one of those big redwoods you've seen in the foothills. The Witching Tree is the Witching Tree. You know you're supposed to capitalize it when you write it out, just like God. You have a feeling that it would know if you didn't. As long as there have been children, as long as there have been knives, there have been those who took it upon themselves to leave their mark on the natural world, carving their sign into the bark of a living thing to prove that they were there, that they were real. All of the rest of the trees in the park have at least a couple of such scars from the vanity of children, a prepubescent drive for immortality. The Witching Tree has only one. Nobody said you couldn't carve your initials into the Witching Tree. There wasn't a list of rules that you had to follow. Children just know these things. Most of them, anyway. Tommy Colgate didn't care about doing what he was supposed to do. He'd say curse words in front of teachers, he'd pull girls' pigtails, and he'd throw rocks at pigeons. He also had been given a shiny new whittling knife for his birthday. All the other children watched when Tommy climbed up the hill, the sunlight glinting off his knife as he unfolded it. What was that? Oh, kitty antics already. Okay. Excuse me. One of the cats jumped off upstairs. I was a little distracting. So yeah, kitty antics. They have already started. Ain't that nice? And let me see where I was. All the other children watched when Tommy climbed up the hill, the sunlight glinting off his knife as he unfolded it. They all watched as he plunged it into the bark, carving out a jagged, clumsy T.C. He seemed so smug when he came back down the hill, smiling like he'd just won the lottery. He was the first kid to carve his name on the Witching Tree. He would also be the last. The other children weren't surprised when Tommy didn't come to school the next day. They weren't surprised when they saw his obituary in the local newspaper, the one which conspicuously left out the cause of death. Those who went to the funeral weren't surprised that it was a closed casket. Nobody carved their initials into the Witching Tree and got away with it. Sometimes you can still hear some of the older children whisper tales about Tommy Colgate, about the countless slashes that covered all over his body, arranged in odd patterns like some sort of alien language, and the rust-brown stains they found on the Witching Tree's branches. They'll laugh it off, of course, say it's just a ghost story. But to this day, there's still only one set of initials carved into the witching tree's bark. There we have it, the witching tree by the Priestess of Spiders. Like I said, it's a nice little short start-off story. I kind of like it. Nice little mystery. Little bit of an F around and find out kind of story. And honestly, why is it always a Tommy? Like I already have 2 stories in the channel about a Tommy where bad stuff happens to. I think one of them is also a haunted tree story. The tree down west, or the elm tree that eats children. Yeah, there was also a Tommy that effed around and found out like that. Kinda familiar, kinda. But this one was called Tommy Colgate. Why is he named after a toothbrush brand? Unless that's one of those common names I'm just not familiar with in America or somewhere else. Everything is possible. Duchess of Darkness. I'm very familiar with that story. Love it. Oh, you are? Ah, wait, I remember. You did 1 or 2 You did several stories of Priestess of Spiders, right? Duchess. Very nice start to the live, Dr. Torment. Yes, Lulu, indeed. While I'm reading already, the kitty antics have started. I'd say that's a nice start to a live indeed. I even think Duchess actually narrated this one. It's a bit... It is an old one, isn't it? Like 6 months ago? Maybe? I think she might have. Moving the microphone a little bit. So I can sit a little comfortably. Oh, much better. Let me see, that was The Witching Tree by the Duchess of Spiders. I'm so sorry, by the Priestess of Spiders. There's another short one I wanted to start off with. Let's move that one to number 2. There we go. Duchess says, I really have missed these lives. Well, I want to say I missed them too. I did, don't get me wrong, I did. But at some point, probably because of August, because August was only live streams, like 2 a week. I probably didn't really miss live streams that much. But yeah, I did miss hanging out with people here. That reminds me, I should also have a new story ready by Saturday. I'm just waiting for a few voice actors to finish their work. House of Jen, really appreciate the moving mic warning dog. Well, I thought if anyone would appreciate it, it would be you, Jen. Ah, yes, I see that. According to my notifications, Duchess's premiere is in 30 minutes. The Girl in the Woods. Well, I'll be watching that one a little later, or tomorrow, depending how long the live stream here will be at. But don't worry, you'll definitely have a view on that from me. Now, what other story do I have here? Hello, kitty cat. How are you doing today? That is the hand I need for my mouse. You cannot borrow that one for pets. Alright, so to describe what is happening here. So I'm using a hand to move the mouse. I know, shocker. Reveal of the century here. And one of my cats just happened to jump on my desk and push her head to my hand, which is busy. And, well, she wants attention. Now she's pushing it into my neck. Wafting her tail. Right when you're losing hair, you have to waft your tail right next to my beard. Jesus, why? What have I ever done to you? You want me to suffocate? I need to give you food. And water. And a roof. I need to pay for the roof too. Don't try to suffocate me, madam. Okay, yeah, I have a few pets. Sure. Come here. Hello. There we go, that's enough. I need to read something now, hold on. So, for those in the know, the cat that is currently with me is called Vici. She is the attention princess of the three. The other one is... yes, I do have a beard, Duchess. It's nothing long. It's not like an epic dwarven beard or anything like that. It's rather simple and short. But it's long enough to catch loose hairs when somebody rubs a face into my face. Vici! Again, I'm trying to do something here. Please. Stupid ass. Hell. Imagining what the doctor looks like. Well, with the human skin on, I've been told ruggedly handsome. That is something TJ Hodder told me from Tapes of Trepidation. TJ, if you're watching this, thank you. I couldn't think of anything profound at the moment. Except when you're bald. I am not bald, Madam Jinxie. At least, not anymore. Shut up! How dare you? Okay, fair enough. I do pick on you a lot as well. Now then, on to the next story. Once again, Priestess of Spiders. As I said, I have a few of them from the good old priestess here. This one is called The Laughing Masses. I'm pretty sure it is a part 1 to something, or part of a grander story, but I couldn't find it today. I'm sure I can find it if I put more time into it, but I couldn't find it. Oh wait, there's actually a link. Is there a link? Oh, okay, it's like an anthology thing, and that is her. Okay, so what this was is it was part of an anthology story, storyline. So basically every story is its own little thing. And that was her entry to it. Alright, got it. Okay, got it. Anyway, from the Priestess of Spiders, The Laughing Masses. Gonna move the microphone a little bit again, so if you hear something weird, that'll be that. There we go. There. Yes, madam, you can have my hand while I'm reading, sure. You little attention, kitty. The Laughing Masses, Priestess of Spiders. We still don't know where it came from. It just washed on the beach one day. It didn't seem to have any way that it could swim. Just a vague lump of pinkish wrinkled flesh with 2 legs and a tail dragging across the ground like an outdated dinosaur reconstruction. No eyes, no ears, no mouth. Just covered in tight, sphincter-like holes all over its body. It was only about the size of an elephant at first, but that started to change even before the thing managed to stand up. I've seen the footage. Someone started live streaming it from a distance, at least until they dropped their phone and ran to join in on all the fun. It's awful to see. Thousands of tourists dropping what they were doing and just sprinting towards the creature, laughing and smiling, pushing each other out of the way, trampling on those who fell during the stampede, crawling one by one into the puckered orifices covering that thing's body. Did you know the only survivors of that incident were those who were too badly injured in the crush of single-minded human bodies to crawl inside? Did you know that when the paramedics got to them, they were crying because they had been left, because they felt they had been left behind? When the thing managed to stand up and started moving, the crowd followed, climbing up its wrinkled, fleshy legs like ants swarming a newborn deer. It was swollen with the immense mass of humanity it had absorbed, more than doubled in size from when it washed up on the shore. At first it just seemed bloated, corpulent, dragging the added bulk along like so much dead weight, but as it continued its idiotic march, it began to process the laughing horde into new biomass. People leapt out of their cars to join with it when it reached the highway. It took weeks to clear away all of the empty cars left to broil in the hot sun. I don't know what makes me more uncomfortable, the cars where we found the corpses of infants dead of dehydration and heat, or the cars we found with empty booster seats. It took a long time for the government to take any action against the thing, because nearly everybody who saw it wound up becoming part of it. No time for them to call 911 before they felt the need to join it. It's a small mercy that officials figured out what was happening when they did. But it was still too late to stop it from reaching the city. The total population of the city was perhaps around 1 million, give or take a few 10,000 people. Do you know what it looks like to see 1 million people crawling over one another like rats? How are you supposed to stop a thing like that? How are you supposed to keep them from rushing to kill themselves, so giddy with joy they don't even have time to listen to you to plead with them? The attempts by the gas-masked riot police to stop the swarming crush of humanity was pitiful. Tear gas didn't stop their laughter, didn't stop their desire to become one with that thing from the sea. Even when they had just started opening fire with automatic weapons, the horde showed no fear of their own deaths, just clambering over the bodies of the slain with wild abandon. By the time the Air Force bombed the thing, it had grown to over 200 feet in height. Mercifully, whatever pheromone it had emitted to attract its prey seemed to dissipate fairly quickly with its death, though a few people did still try to get inside of the charred corpse. Autopsy was, by necessity, conducted in a manner more similar to spelunking than conventional surgical exploration. The team was equipped with flashlights, hazmat suits, electric saws, and coils of rope. I can't imagine what it must have been like for them, cutting into the steaming, reeking flesh, squirming through a digestive tract the width of a storm drain. I can't imagine what they must have felt when they saw all those smiling, happy bodies melting with the walls of their final resting place. I can't imagine what they must have felt when they realized some of them were still moving. And we have it, The Laughing Masses by PriestessOfSpiders. That was... Yeah, I was about to say it, Jen. Yeah, that had a lot of imagery in it. Actually, Mike made a video of this. I actually might make a video of this one soon. It's nice and short. It has a lot of imagery in it I would love to explore. Kind of reminds me of that phenomena that was a few years back when those lumps of flesh washed up. I think it was at New York somewhere, or a big city. Turned out to be a bloated whale carcass, but yeah, still. Reminded me of that one. The House of Jan, super Lovecraftian. It kind of, yeah, now that you mention it, I wouldn't say Lovecraftian, but I definitely got Cloverfield vibes from it. Duchess of Darkness, I loved that one. Yes, I did too. Duchess. Here's a fun little thing. While I'm going to look what the third story will be for the reading, let me just start up a little Q&A, just so everybody can have a little fun thing to do in the meantime. Oof. Well, that is the sound that your good old doctor needs some hydration. Drinking noises, lovely noises. Enjoy. What was I? Yes, Q&A. So basically, as always, ask all questions within reason. Anything and, well, anything can be asked within reason, I suppose. Lulubelle, I am listening, just distracted at the moment. Don't worry, Lulu, I wasn't wondering where you were. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you're busy, you're busy. Wait, it's a typing sound. Is the typing sound audible? Can't think of it, because my keyboard does sound a bit like a typewriter in the browser. There we are, starting Q&A. There we go. Ask away. Ladies and gentlemen, anything and everything can be asked to the good old doctor, and I will do my best to answer them. It's a fun little thing to do while we are in this live stream, while I'm reading. It enhances the experience. About what? Oh, the sounds, right. Oh, thank you, Han. Thank you, Jen, thank you. It kind of does, doesn't it? It adds to the atmosphere. Sure. I'll take it. Sure. Let me see, where was I? Ah, yes, third story. The third story. The third story is not going to be from the Priestess of Spiders. The third story will be a creepypasta. Ooh. Again, it's a creepypasta. I selected this one because it gave me weird, creepy vibes that I think should be associated with Halloween a little bit. Let's see, the author is called Arthur Holmeswick. And it is called The Curious Case of Cold Tom. Thank you, Dreadful Anecdotes, for recommending this one to me in the Discord, in the request channel. I will make a full video of this at some point. But when I read it, I just thought to myself, you know, this is a good one for the live as well. Let's use it for that. For now. There we go. Jinxie, could you do something for me? Because I've given out a lot of shout-outs at the moment. I have forgotten quite a few of them. If you could remember them, could you please make a little list so I can add it into this, so I can add the shoutouts in the description as well. Thank you. Hey, Jinxie, I'm a very busy eldritch being, okay? I forget stuffs. Jeez, don't have to be such a Canadian about it. Ooh, shots fired. But in all seriousness, who did I give shoutouts to? Definitely TJ, Lady Spicaria, Duchess for sure. Baseline feed. Yes, when I announced the Wendigo thing. Dreadful. I'm doing fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Alright, I have a Q&A going, don't I? Grim Reader. Yes, thank you, House of Jen. Yes, I wouldn't say that was a shout-out. Grim Reader was in here saying hello, but I will count it because I do have some good content. Duchess of Darkness, were you a little nervous doing your first live? Less nervous than I expected, actually, but a little bit, yeah. Basically, I was already kinda getting used to it. I was already on 2 live streams with 242 reads. Jinx, write that one down, 242 reads. And one with Lady Spicaria, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will be a guest to Lady Spicaria as well this Sunday. Mark your calendars. I will share it as soon as a waiting page has been established. But yes. So I was kind of already used to how it works. 242 has also been extremely helpful, giving me tips on how to run a live stream, basically, and what to do before you actually go about doing it. Like making the screens, make sure that all the boxes are ticked, all that kind of stuff. How to switch your screens, stuff like that. Now it's like, it's simple stuff now, come think of it. Like, I could have probably discovered this on my own, but it's nice to have someone show it to you, you know? That way you don't look that much as a... Well, I don't look as much as a fool. I can really look like a fool when it comes to technical things. In the Q&A, do I have a question in the Q&A? Yes, I do. House of Jen. What was your inspiration for DrTorment as a personality? Now, there is a question. There is a question. I would say... I don't really have an inspiration of it initially. I just went off with what was comfortable with me. But if I were to pinpoint something, if you know the Disney version of Hercules, there is Hades, and mix him up with Hannibal Lecter, I suppose. I think that is as accurate as you can get with DrTorment as a personality. Were they the inspirations? Not necessarily. It's more something I noticed as I was going along, that there are traits that these two have that the DrTorment character has as well. So yeah, it's not really an inspiration, but strong similarities. Which Lecter? Good question. Well, not Brian Cox's, of course. I'd say... Actually, that is a good question. Am I thinking Anthony Hopkins or Matt Mikkelsen? I'd say I want to say Anthony Hopkins, but at the same time, I'm more a fan of Mads Mikkelsen's portrayal of Hannibal. He is just more accurate. And don't get me wrong, Brian Cox does a phenomenal psychopathic murderer vibe, like phenomenal. But yeah, with Mads was more accurate to the books, and Anthony Hopkins, stellar actor as he is, he was just being creepy like he always does. Actually, yeah, let's say Anthony Hopkins. Let's say Anthony Hopkins' version of Hannibal. I think it's because Hopkins had a lot of weight and gravitas when he portrayed Hannibal, or any of his characters. House of Jen. Cox was not Hannibal, in my opinion. Well, that kind of depends. Like, did I think his performance was more accurate to how a psychopath should behave? Yes, I do. Was he book accurate? No, not at all, especially not appearance-wise. There was something about Cox, though. I can't really place it, but you can hear his spite towards Will Graham. When you've seen Manhunter, you can hear the spite, like the subtle anger and annoyance he feels towards Graham. Whereas with Hannibal, well, Anthony Hopkins and Will, it feels more of a Moriarty Sherlock vibe. No, not even a Moriarty Sherlock vibe, hold on. It feels more like a Batman Joker vibe to me. Like one cannot exist without the other type of situation. And then there is Hannibal from the show with Mads Mikkelsen. And let's be honest, that is, as brilliant as it is, that was something else. That show. I love to call it Murder Husbands Incorporated. Still my favorite portrayal of Hannibal, don't get me wrong. It's just hilarious when you see it when you see it on the internet called that. But to answer your question there, Jen, to answer your question there, which Lecter, I definitely say the Hannibal from Anthony Hopkins portrayal, yes. Let's see. Nobody else asked a question in the Q&A. Do remember there is a Q&A button at the top of the screen pinned on top. So if you do have questions, do refer yourself to there. You can also ask them in the chat. I really do not mind, but just so you know. Do you hear the lambs, House of Jen? Do they still scream? I'm sorry, I just had to. So yeah, but back to the general question in the Q&A from Jen, because this has been a very lengthy answer because of the Hannibal Lecter talk. Basically, Hades from Hercules and Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter. And why did I throw in Hades before anyone asked that? Well, I like his salesman approach. And I like to think the DrTorment character will try to persuade will try to persuade you and sell you on the idea, hey, come to my asylum. We'll help you. It's fun over there. Well, it's absolute madness and chaos when you enter. And you cannot get out. That's the fun part. Ah, it is so fun being an eldritch being like that. I did promise a live reading. Where is my other... No, you can go away. Where is my other story? Where are you? Let's move that one up. There we go. Let's look at the chat. Jinxie asked something in the Q&A I see. Obligatory, can I have my cats back question. No, they are my cats. You have dogs. That's more than enough. You already have dogs, I have cats. There. They're mine. That's not gonna happen, Jinx. Dream on. Now, without further ado, The Curious Case of Cold Tom. Written by Arthur Holmeswick and recommended to me by Dreadful Anecdotes from Discord. Here we go. Well, maybe I should zoom in a little bit, because those are small letters. God damn. Ah, that's better. Moving the mic a little bit again. Boop. An excerpt from a 1920 children's book titled An Impasse at Warwickshire and Other Tales of Impossible Truths. Sadly, only a few copies of this book remain, probably. I was only lucky enough to find a copy amongst my grandmother's old things in the closet upstairs. In the later part of the 14th century, in about 1360 or so, there lived a landowner called Warwick, in England in the area known as Cheddar, who came into the possession of a singular sort of servant. Of course, servants of this time were a different sort of importance than servants as we know them today. But this servant was especially peculiar, mainly for the reason that Warwick did not have any servants aside for the one that mysteriously appeared to his workshop one afternoon, long after tea. Warwick's eldest daughter was the first to notice the presence of the new man, and first having thought him a customer, though in all honesty a queer sort of customer he would make, an even queerer servant as she would soon discover, and informed him that Warwick had departed ahead of his family for Massachusetts. Cold Tom, as he would ask to be called, looked up from where he was sitting at Warwick's workbench and told the girl that he was Warwick's servant, and would be living with them for whatever period as Warwick sees fit. And thus Cold Tom came to live with the Warwicks. Cold Tom ended up being a curious breed of servant, something of a combination of a butler, footman, coachman, and general man of business. Mr. Warwick consulted Tom for numerous tasks, much more, his family thought, than he should have ought to. But then, Tom always had a curious sort of pull around him. Not least of because of his rather strange appearance. Tom was rather tall and excessively thin, and his too large head was swamped with a great mass of downy blonde hair. His face was half over with a strawberry mark he claimed he had since birth, and contrasted wildly with his eyes, which twinkled a blue-green and stood out in the night like pinpricks of St. Elmo's fire. But despite his strangeness, Tom was never disloyal to Warwick, and did his very best to serve the man in everything. His only fit of temper came when he destroyed a pot of laying carelessly upon his hand by Warwick's daughter Margareta, both of which were long and thin and fragile, and no one could hardly fault him for being cross. Then, on the morning of April 4th, in the late part of the 1360s, Mrs. Warwick came home to find a cabinet in the kitchen where no cabinet had been before. It was, Tom explained when she asked, a magical cabinet. He had thought, he explained, It very cruel of Mr. Waywick not to grant his wife with a restful place to stay inside of working all day. He had often begged Waywick, he explained, to be more forgiving to his wife. Mrs. Waywick wanted to know where the cupboard led. Oh, to a magical place where all care was lifted from your shoulders, and as long as you stayed, you could live in complete and utopic happiness. And that Mrs. Waywick should see for herself. Mrs. Waywick did not know what utopic meant, but asked if her husband knew of this. Cold Tom replied that, but of course he did, and seeing the errors of his ways, had asked Tom especially to find it for Mrs. Waywick. Oh, then it was all right then, said Mrs. Waywick, and went into the cupboard. A total of 137 people disappeared into that cupboard that afternoon, never to be seen again by any English man or woman, including Mr. Waywick, his middle and youngest daughter, the nurse, 8 of his neighbors, most of the town's children, the parish priest, and several of his brothers and sisters. Only Waywick's eldest daughter, Mary, did not go in, and told the king's men, when they had been informed of the matter, what had happened. My father entered some time ago to try to persuade the people to leave the cupboard. He has not come back out. But of Cold Tom, no trace could be found. And I must not omit to say that in 1914, an archaeological dig was conducted in the northern part of England, on the craggy coastal region on what appeared to be the site of a town of prehistoric origin, where the team members found, under 2 stones laying against one another, stairs leading down into the earth. In a subterranean room of about 20 feet long by 16 feet wide, they found over 100 corpses, all bearing markings of having lived nearly some 600 years ago, all sitting with their knees drawn up to their chins and their arms wrapped about their legs. Aside for the sheer scale of bodies found and the curious positions they were found in, the only thing the archaeological team could not account for, however, was the apparent recentness of their deaths, which to all intents and purposes was only several days beforehand. And there we have it, the curious case of Cold Tom. Kitty cats, no. And a curious case of Cold Tom written by Arthur Holmeswick, as recommended to me by Dreadful Anecdotes. That one was a little difficult to read. I think there were a few errors in it as I went along. Not sure if they were mine or from the reading. I should have a reread of it soon. There we go. In any case, I think this is where we will about to start our first... Should we? Hold on. Before I say that. Yes. Yes, I think so we should. Thank you, Lulu, for the applause. Thank you. Now, it is about time we do our first break of this live stream. Cold reads are hard. Yes, yes they are, but it is what I do during the live streams. You have to get used to it. Says House of Jen, cold reads are hard. Yes they are. But that's okay. Live and learn. As I was about to say, let's do our first break for this live stream at this point. Let's say 5-ish minutes. Everybody get a little bit of rest. I can get my throat back in working order. And let's hope the stream doesn't crash when I put it in pause. It better not. I will be upset if it does. I do not want to do this. I don't want to make another part 1, part 2 kind of thing. So I'm going to initiate a break here. I'll see you all in a few minutes. Now, if the stream does crash, I will come back immediately on. I will come back on immediately after that. So do not worry. And here we go. And we have returned. Thank you, Lulu, for attending the bar and providing the drinks. Cheers. Ah, that's a good drink. So, how have we been? Did I miss anything during the break? I hope not. I do think Duchess's live is going on right now, so I will forgive everyone if you want to have a look at that as well. Oh, there's no shame in it. By all means, she's a talented narrator. By all means, support her too. House of Jen Jinxie saved me. All I hear is Ricky Bobby talk, and all I want to hear is this. I am very, very confused. What was in your drink, Jen? What was in your drink? Oh god, Lulu, what did you slip her? I'm just waiting here with anticipation. I want to know what's in. I don't want to know what's in Jen's drink now. I'm so. Oh no. Not Ricky Bobby. Whoever that is. I'm so bad with names. Don't know what it was green. Oh, there must be something from my private cabinet. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Not gonna apologize for that one. That's a special ingredient. Let's see. Let's see. Well, we are here. Let me see at Story the Fourth. Here's a boogeyman kind of thing. It's the 26th of October. Why the hell is there a mosquito around here? Why? What are you doing here? So you have chosen death. It's not dead. Is it dead now? No, it isn't. So yeah, if anybody hears any random clapping or bashing, that's probably me trying to unalive a very, very annoying little buzzer. 26th of October, shouldn't they be like dying outside or something? God damn it. Unbelievable. Let me see. Yes, and the Q&A is still on. So once again, if you've got any questions, doesn't even have to be Dr. Torment related, you know. Can be about anything. Like I said, open to anything and everything. Questions galore. Just a little something to brew in while we go into our next story. Or, actually, let's make it a little more interactive, because I also have a poem ready to go here. Not one of mine, this one is in the Creepypasta wiki. It is called Ash Mother. Let's see, the author is, to me, so far unknown. Yes, I don't see any references to an author. Anyway, it's called Ash Mother, it's in the Creepypasta wiki. It's sort of a scary storytelling poem. So we can do that, or we can go to the next Reddit story. Let me make a poll for that one. And welcome, Dreadful, welcome. Come into the office, come into the office. You are most welcome with the audience. You just missed something, Dreadful. We were reading your recommendation, The Curious Case of Cold Tom. You just missed it. You just missed it before our break. And I was about to make a poll, wasn't I? Yes. So, it's gonna be creepypasta poem or Reddit story. Oop. No. No. There we go. I should... No quick typing, no quick typing. Relax, you're in your own home, Tommy. Oop. That is in the poll now. Enjoy voting. I am most curious what this will do. So far we have 3 votes in. The favor for now is going to the creepypasta poem. Up, 4 votes in. 3 votes, 4 votes. Who is playing around? Don't. That's how you get me very, very aggressive. Don't. This is how the green stuff gets in your drinks. Oh, that's a good crack. We have 4 votes in. Ooh. Just gonna wait like a minute or so. Also, Dreadful, I've seen you released another video today. Rest assured that I will be sharing it after I've viewed it myself. Still on the 4 votes, okie dokie. Ooh, up to 5 votes. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have someone new. Hello, Eldrick. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Did you vote for what the next reading will be? Yes, poem all the way. Well, you didn't have to say what you vote for, but you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I suppose if Duchess were here, she would also vote for poem. She loves poems. House of Jan, I still need to know who Ricky Bobby is. I'm very, very bad with names. Hello, Angel. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. How are you? How are the kittens? Did the last one find a home already? Did something happen? Speaking of kittens, hello. Which one are you? Hello. Want to say hi to everybody else? No, want to use my leg as a scratching post? Sure. Why not? Sure. Yeah, why not? Sure. That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt at all. Get off my pants now. House of Jen. Oh, it's the NASCAR driver in the movie the fam is watching. Oh, that one. Yeah, alright, got it. I was like, could you please not use my leg as a scratch? Especially not the inner thigh. Ooh, no. No, don't. To clarify, so one of my cats, this one being Eve, the black one, she has a nasty little habit of using my legs as scratching posts, and this time positioned herself to scratch my inner thigh, which hurts a lot. You, madam, are a little sadist. You know this? Yeah, of course you don't. You don't care. Sure. Sadist. Yeah. Oi, that's not for you. That's not a drink for you. No. Yeah, sure, you can have pets. Kitty chaos galore. 6 votes in. I don't think we'll be getting any more votes. Sure, I'm going to end the poll here. And the results are... Well, that kind of says it. 1 vote for the Reddit story and 5 votes for the creepypasta poem. Fair enough. Creepypasta poem it is. Where are you? Ashen Mother. You. That's a peculiar name. Or Ash Mother. I'm so sorry. Madam, I require you not to use me as a scratching post while I read this. It will be very embarrassing for me. I will make a high-pitched squeal if you do. Please do not. I would love you ever so much more if you do not do it at this moment. Thank you. You are a nice kitty. Now, next reading, Ash Mother, a sort of poem. Oh, it is playing around All Hallows Eve. Good. A poem in the spirit of Halloween. And here we go. And there will also, of course, be a link after the stream to this particular poem as well. Ash Mother. Kitty, no, please. I was about to start. Please, don't. No shenanigans. Please, go to your little bed. Go to your bed. It's nice and cozy. You can scratch it all up in there. Only costed me a lot of money. Ash Mother, creepypasta poem. In the dark where evil sleeps, where sanity is useless trash, I tell a tale to give you creeps, and inspire true fear of things that slash. On a quiet All Hallows Eve, when rain did drizzle from the sky, 2 siblings from their home did leave, not dressed as ghosts, but end was nigh. While friends of theirs did candy find among the houses that they passed, the siblings were of different mind. To another house they hurried fast. They had been promised a lovely thing by a man with long sharp teeth. If they came at midnight's ring, they'd raise their mother who sleeps beneath. The ritual was long and harsh. Twice they fainted dead away. Their blood was marked... What? Oh, that seems like an error. Oh no, it isn't. Their blood was marking every half. When lit they marked the spirit's way. And in a scream and rushing wind, one sibling stared upon another, dead and fallen in their sin. He had not seen their risen mother. From the hearth's not blackened grate, a crawling figure made of ash pulled herself in and sealed the fate of her 2 children as she moved fast. The living child gazed on in horror as Ash Mother swallowed the dead sibling whole. Their mother was hungry, was now at terror. She smiled at the living child, bloody and cold. The other child ran, but did not get far. Teeth now sank into her arm, and she shrieked. Ash Mother didn't notice her child's alarm, and with crunches she put her child to sleep. The Ash Mother waits in that house all alone. Her children are gone, and her hunger remains. Dare you to enter, and you will atone for the sins of the siblings. You will feel their pain. In the dark where evil sleeps, where sanity is useless trash, I've told a tale to give you creeps and inspire true fear of things that slash. And that was Ash Mother, a creepypasta, a poem I happened to have found just yesterday. Intriguing. I thought there was some errors in grammar there, but I think it is meant to be in a very old form of writing, or at least an archaic form of writing, which I can appreciate. DrTorment loves his archaic style writings. See here. I'll just put that in the description already. Ash Mother. Little pasty paste. Let me save. There we go. That one is in the description, yeah? Oui. See? Jinxie, all the shenanigans. Ah, I know. Kids, right? Lulu Bell. Lulu liked it. Yay! Thank you, Lulu. Thank you. Maybe I will throw in one of my own poems today. Maybe. We will see. Ah, the shenanigans, yes, with the kitties. Yeah, that was Eve, Jinxie. The black, naughty one. Good lord, she is naughty. Actually, let me just in case, let me just prepare a little something here. There we go. Well, this one put me in a little bit of a poetry mood again. If copyright wasn't an issue, what would be among the first reads? That is a good question, Jen. What would be among the first reads if copyright wasn't an issue? Well, here's the thing. I mainly go for... Well, I prefer to do classical stories that don't require any copyright anymore, you know, because they're in the public domain. I specifically look for stories like that. But if copyright weren't an issue, a story that, or at least stories that I would like to tackle Probably Lord of the Rings. Easy. To piggyback on that question, Jen, I'd ask him to know. Oh, you need a lot more than your tier to have me do that. Jinxie. Good lord, no. Good lord, no. Resounding no. First off, a 24-hour stream? Good lord, no, 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 no. I barely have a hold of my sanity already. And then you want me to narrate that? I think not. I think absolutely not. No. Not happening. Dreadful anecdotes. You know what, Dreadful? Yes. I would prefer 50 Shades of Grey over Twilight. Don't get me wrong, both have severe narrative issues, but still, I prefer 50 Shades of Grey over Twilight anytime. Good lord. But House of Jen, to answer your question, if copyright wasn't an issue, I'd definitely go for Lord of the Rings. There. Actually, 50 Shades of Grey has been along. I've only read the first book. I didn't even finish the first book. Wasn't worth reading. Jinxie, I'm about to put you in a timeout. How dare you suggest that to me? How dare you? That's not even to read, that's to watch, and I've watched the first season. That is vomit-inducing, story-wise. Ugh. Storytelling is just vomit-inducing in Velma. Oh, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? How did they actually think that would turn a profit? Like, Jesus, hell. You know you have a problem when Scooby-Doo Go is a better alternative than Velma, and that show is horrendous as it is. Funny here and there, but still. Velma has nothing funny about it. I better shut up now before I start ranting. Good lord, that show has traumatized me beyond repair. As of Jan, Twilight was a fanfic. Yeah, no, well, of course it's a fanfic. It reads as a fanfic. Dreadful anecdotes. Favorite Stephen King story. That will still be it for me. But that said, Salem's Lot is a close second. Mainly because those are the two first books I read of Stephen King back in the day. So you can say that I'm a little biased with nostalgia. "50 Shades was a fanfic of Twilight," says House of Jen. Really? If that's true, that is something I did not know. And you know what? It doesn't even surprise me. Yep, Jinxie, I'm about to put you in a timeout. I mean it, like my mouse is over the button. My mouse is over the button, right there. Put user in timeout. Oof. Oof, it's so tempting. It is so tempting. But I mustn't. I must be the better man. Oh, I hate to be the better man. Favorite Canadian would be TJ, obviously. Actually, that would be Robin Schabotsky from How I Met Your Mother. Or Barney Stinson, since he is part Canadian, so that counts. House of Jen, 365 days was a fanfic of 50 Shades. What the hell is 365 days? Is this something that I've missed? It sounds like something I've missed. What's this now? 365 days. I'm going to look that up. That's it. What is this? Oh. Is that... I think my cousin talked to me about this. Is that the Polish version of 50 Shades of Grey that he has been going on about? Just trust me, my cousin, he likes to talk about these things. Annoying as hell. Well, one of these days I'm gonna slap him if he starts another conversation like that. House of Jen. No, don't look it up. Well, it's too late. Too late. I looked it up and I regret everything. Get flashbacks from my cousin talking about it. Ugh. Yes, we get it. Stuff happens in it. Mediocre stuff. Ugh. I love how one of the castings is literally called Sexy Girl. Why? Why doesn't the girl have a name? Oh, good lord. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, what kind of a rabbit hole am I getting into? I mean, this I understand, like Bank Manager 4 or Bank Manager 2, sure, but Sexy Girl? Really? That's a casting name. Oh god. This is weird. That's it. Closing that tab. There you go. Go away from my sight. Don't ever want to see it or hear it again. That was not good for my eyes. That was not good for my mental instability. Whew. Wait, is it on Netflix? Well, another reason why I cancelled it, I suppose. If it is. I'm so very glad I cancelled these things. The only redeeming quality for all three of those was the soundtrack, says House of Jen. Yeah, but same could be said about Star Wars, and well, that's down to crapper as it is. Isn't it? Like, ooh, nice music, ooh, pretty visuals, but all the rest, it's like, alright. Pigsty is a pigsty, I suppose. I did read something interesting the other day. Apparently Disney is in a panic because they lost about 4 billion just because they are mishandling their streaming service a lot since it launched. I mean, as a company, losing 4 billion, and half of the reason for losing 4 billion is basically because you mishandled Star Wars. Oh, good lord. Was that worth the investment to buy it? If you hear that, I think not. I really think not. Now there are talks about Disney selling Star Wars again, but they have to fire a certain somebody whose name shall not be mentioned. I hope that'll happen soon. I swear I will leap into the air and do a little dancey dance of victory whenever that happens. Catherine Kennedy should never have run it. No, I said the name. Never mind. Never should have done it. Anyways, before I start ranting about that, let's continue to the next story, shall we? The next story, another one from PriestessOfSpiders. A visit from Uncle Umbra. That is a... Where do I know the name Umbra from? Is that an Elder Scrolls thing? Wait, hold on. I need to look it up now. Ah, yeah, yes, the Sword of Umbra, there it is, the black sword that steals souls and possesses whoever wields it. Yeah, I thought the name was familiar to me. Well, that's a little bit of Elder Scrolls lore for the uninitiated. You're welcome. But now, without further ado, a visit from Uncle Umbra. Reddit chat, go away. Thank you. Visit from Uncle Umbra by PriestessOfSpiders. Just to avoid any confusion, this is read in the POV of a female. Yes, I was about to say something else, but no, female. Yes. I must have been about 5 years old when I encountered the book. My mother recently had gone to visit my grandfather and brought back a couple of boxes with old belongings. After an early dinner, my brother, my mother and I started looking through the boxes. There were dolls, stuffed animals, a board game or two, and several books. Now, I hadn't yet learned to read by that age, though not for lack of trying. I remember I once borrowed my father's reading glasses and sat on the couch, trying to will the symbols on the page to manifest into coherent sentences. I thought that the glasses would help translate the seemingly bizarre hieroglyphs into sounds in my head, but there was no such luck. As I helped my mother and older brother search through the cardboard boxes filled with childhood treasures, my eyes drifted to a small book. It was grey in coloration, with a drawing of a man in a wide-brimmed hat and a dark suit on the cover. His face was covered up by his black hat, and his hands were in his pockets. The art style was cartoonish, but strangely detailed and grotesque in a way I couldn't quite put my finger on. Looking back on it now, I'd almost be tempted to compare it to German expressionism. The book had a title in angular block letters, but I couldn't make the symbols transform into words in my young mind. Clutching the book, I pawed at the sleeve of my mother. "Mummy, what does this say?" I mumbled, showing her the slim volume. I was embarrassed by my inability to read, something that my parents and 12-year-old brother seemed to be able to do so easily. My mother looked up from a small pile of stuffed animals, glancing at the book before saying, "It says, 'A visit from Uncle Umbra, dear.'" I stared at the book's cover, looking at the man in his black suit, who I assumed must be the titular Uncle Umbra. I kept focusing on his head, as if maybe I could will the hat to come off so I could see his face. The book made me feel uncomfortable, but there was something drawing me to it. It felt similar to the sensation one feels looking over the edge of a cliff, that unexplainable urge to jump. "Mummy, I said, looking back at my mother with pleading eyes. "Would you be able to read this to me?" My mother sighed, looking around at the mess that had been made of the living room. "Your dad and I have a dinner date tonight, but I'm sure your brother would be more than happy to read it to you." She stared pointedly at Oliver, who was currently looking through the various knickknacks with poorly disguised boredom. Mom, do I have to?" he groaned, tossing aside an old box of crayons. Oliver had reached the stage in development where spending time with his younger sibling seemed more like a chore than anything else. My mother ruffled his hair, before saying, "Yes, you have to, dear. Come on, it's a short little book. Shouldn't take you more than a few minutes. Now, I'll be right back. I've gotta get ready." With that, she walked out of the bathroom. Bathroom? Wasn't it the living room? Oh, no, that's... excuse me. With that, she walked off to the bathroom, dusting her hands off on her dress as she went. With all the enthusiasm of a dying slug, Oliver slunk over to me, petulantly grabbing the book out of my hands. He flipped through the pages, and his brow furrowed with confusion, before a mischievous grin crossed his face. "All right, Chloe, you're sure you want me to read you this book? This one specifically?" I nodded enthusiastically, smiling as I said, "This one specifically." Oliver chuckled at my mispronunciation and sat down with me on the couch, opening the book to the first page. On the left-hand page, there was a picture of the eponymous Uncle Umbra, hat covering his face and hands in his pockets as he walked up on a hill. The right-hand page contained writing with that which was inscrutable to my young eyes. My brother read out loud the text on the right-hand page. "All dressed up in his suit of black and grey, Uncle Umbra is coming today." I giggled at the rhyme, but I felt slightly nervous in the back of my mind. Why did my brother make that weird smile, and how come I felt so drawn to this book? Deep down, I could sense there was something wrong, but I didn't understand how or why. My brother flipped the page. The left-hand side showed Uncle Umbra in the woods now, walking among towering pine trees. A full moon hung overhead, and his shadow stretched eerily out behind him. I heard Oliver read out, "He walks beneath moonlight, through slumbering groves. He reeks of old eggshells, lost children and cloves." As my brother flipped the page, I caught a glimpse of something pale underneath Uncle Umbra's wide-brimmed hat, as if he had been starting to turn his face to look at me. Before I could say anything, Oliver had started reading the next page. "You must stay quiet, stay hidden away. Uncle Umbra is coming today." The illustration on the left-hand side showed a blonde-haired girl hiding behind a couch. The shadow of a man with a wide-brimmed hat leered menacingly on the wall, and she clutched a small teddy bear. I noticed that the teddy bear looked just like the one I had, which was given to me on my 4th birthday. Before I could process what this meant, my brother had already turned the page once more. A mischievous smirk with white teeth like sharp knives, of unruly children sunlight he deprives, said Oliver with a wicked look in his eye. The illustration showed Uncle Umbra holding a large black sack with gloved hands, the arm of a child sticking out of it. Below the brim hat, I could see a wide, evil grin. Their teeth were pointed and arranged in shark-like rows, overlapping with one another in a chaotic jumble of razor-sharp and animal. I felt myself starting to cry. My brother turned the page. You ought to go high, you ought to go pray. Uncle Umbra is coming today, cackled my brother as I looked in horror at a close-up picture of the little blonde girl's terrified expression. I realized that she looked just like me. My heart was pounding in my chest, and tears poured from my eyes, but I couldn't stop looking, and I couldn't tell Oliver to stop reading. It was as if I was paralyzed. Before I knew it, Oliver had turned the page once more. It showed the little girl staring wide-eyed in bed, hiding under her covers. In the background, I could see the sinister figure of Uncle Umbra standing over the bed, sack in hand. His teeth glinted in the pallid moonlight. You must never sleep while he visits your house, or he will take you away while in bed you drowse, recited Oliver, his voice dripping with malice. The page turned, showing a close-up of Uncle Umbra's face, still partially covered by his wide-brimmed hat. I could still see his horrifying shark-toothed smile. If you can see him, run far, far away. Uncle Umbra is coming, Oliver whispered, turning the page before shouting, "Today!" I shrieked and fell off the couch, absolutely horrified. It wasn't because of Oliver's decision to yell the final word of the book in my ear, although that didn't help. It was what I saw after he turned the last page. I was greeted by an image which still haunts me to this very day, a vision straight out of a nightmare. Uncle Umbra was looking up to stare at the viewer directly, his white, pupilless eyes boring directly into my very soul. He had no ears, and just 2 holes for nostrils. Even though it was just a drawing, it radiated the most intense feeling of evil I'd ever experienced. I heard Oliver laugh uproariously as he closed the book and tossed it onto the ground. My mother walked in scowling. "Oliver, what did you do this time?" she shouted, helping me to my feet and pulling me close. "Nothing, Mum, I just read that book she asked me to read. Guess it was a little too grown up for her," my brother said, still chuckling to himself. "Go to your room," my mother demanded, pointing down the hallway. "But Mum," he started to whine before swiftly being cut off. "I don't care about your excuses, young man. You go to your room and we'll talk about this more tomorrow." Oliver huffed and stormed off to his room, stomping his feet as he went. My mother turned to me, smiling apologetically. "I'm sorry your brother scared you," she said, gently petting my hair. "How about I get you a bowl of ice cream, and you can brush your teeth and head off to bed. We'll only be gone for a couple of hours. When we get back, you can sleep with us tonight if you're still scared." I nodded, wiping a tear from my eye. My mother scooped me a small serving of vanilla ice cream, kissed me on the forehead, and left with my father on their date night. The taste of ice cream swiftly helped me forget the horrible book, and soon I felt comfortable and happy. Being the dutiful child I was, I rinsed out the bowl, and when I was done, put it back in the sink, then brushed my teeth. I climbed into the bed and turned off the light. As I got comfortable, I reached over for my teddy bear before stopping. The sight of it reminded me of the book, of the child hiding behind the couch from the shadow of Uncle Umbra. Instantly, my feelings of comfort and contentment fled, and I was left with a cold fear filling my mind like iced water. I knew I wasn't allowed to leave the lights on until my parents got home. I'd get in trouble for wasting electricity and staying up too late on a school night. As scared as I was of Uncle Umbra, I didn't want to get lectured by my parents. Instead, I grabbed a flashlight from my bedside table and flicked it on. My father had bought it for me after I wet the bed due to being too scared of the dark to get up and use the bathroom. That stupid mosquito in my eye. Go away. Sorry for that. I moved my flashlight over the darkness of the room for what felt like hours, but there was nothing there. Each time I thought I spied some grotesque figure lurking in the shadows. It would turn out to be something mundane, like a cabinet or a pile of laundry. As the minutes ticked away, my eyelids grew heavier and vigilance was steadily replaced with exhaustion. I must have drifted off by the time I heard it. A raspy, evil voice like grass in the wind. Chloe. It spoke in a sing-song voice. I'm going to get you, Chloe. I grabbed the flashlight and clicked the button repeatedly, beginning to hyperventilate as I realized the battery must have died. The voice continued to mock me. Chloe, I'm going to take you away. There was a noise from across the room, the creaking of a hinge. I stared in horror as my closet door opened up, dimly illuminated in the moonlight. I was shaking as I strained my eyes to see what was there, but in my heart I already knew what I'd see. As I watched, a gloved hand pushed aside the door, and a pale face peeked out from my closet. It had pure white eyes, a wide-brimmed hat, and an unnerving grin composed of rows of shark-like teeth. Uncle Umbra was stepping out of my closet. I shrieked and fell out of the bed, scrambling for the door, but it wouldn't budge. I heard the voice again, closer now. It laughed raspably and said, Don't try to escape, Chloe. I turned around and screamed louder. Uncle Umbra had stood up to his full height, and to my child mind he seemed taller than any skyscraper. The reek of cloves and slimy eggshells burned my nostrils as I watched him lift up an enormous black sack. Without warning, the door behind me opened, and I fell to the ground. I ran screaming down the hallway, running into my parents' room and locked the door, turning on all the lights. I hid in the wardrobe, clutching the useless flashlight like a crucifix. A couple of times I heard banging on the door outside and a muffled voice, but I wouldn't come out. I didn't want to be taken away. About an hour later, I heard the door open, and as someone stepped into the room. I tightened my grip on the flashlight and held my breath. The wardrobe door opened, and I screamed, running out and flailing with my flashlight as some kind of a makeshift club, right into the knees of my father. After a lot of reassuring words and hugs from my parents, I eventually calmed down. They told me that it was just my brother pulling a very mean prank on me, and that everything was okay. Oliver was grounded for a week for his cruel joke, and a book was donated to a thrift store. Over 2 decades have passed since that night. I'm 26 now. Oliver is 33. We were talking recently at a family reunion, discussing childhood. I mentioned how much of a brat he was back then, laughing as I related the story of his horrifying prank. He was laughing too, at first, but got quiet when I brought up seeing Uncle Umbra coming out of the closet. After I was finished telling my story, I asked Oliver, "Oliver, seriously, how did you make such a convincing costume in only a couple of hours? I know time can distort your memories, but Jesus, that thing still gives me the creeps." Oliver looked me dead in the eyes, a look of confusion on his face. "Chloe, I didn't make a costume. All I did was talk in a scary voice and hold the door shut when you tried to run out." And that was a visit from Uncle Umbra by Priestess of Spiders. Again, that was a nice story. Again, I liked it. Boogeyman elements in it, very much yay. But I also noticed a similarity to the Babadook. Might just be me, but you know, toothy grin, black gloves, white brim hat. The image of the Babadook just came to mind for me. But other than that, it's a good story. I like how it was building up to it. Yes, indeed, it is time for a little sippy sip, Lulu. Thank you for the reminder. God, we all need a sippy sip sometimes. Let me just put this one in the description now. Here we go. Visitas of Zio Umbra. I have no idea what language that was. Do not quote me. Probably knowing me an amalgamation of stuff. Actually, might put this in the schedule to work on a video as well. That's nice and long. I think that should be a good over 10 minutes long. I think that one's a premiere, if I ever made a video out of this one. Definitely yes. Definitely yes. There you go. Actually, since I am in a bit of a Halloween sphere, let me just go into my drive and look a specific poem of mine. Is that what everybody wants? Do I read out a poem of my own little project? Would you people like that? Let me know. Let me know. Ooh, House of Jen, time for work. Ah, that is sad. You make me sad now, Jen. How dare you? No, that's alright, Jen. Go to work. We all need to do that at some point. Go. Ah, there it is. Well, since you're willing to wait, Jen, alright, I'll do the poem right now, just so you don't feel too obligated to miss out work. Alright, sure, I'll do it. Fine. Now, this is a poem that Duchess of Darkness has read as well on her channel. I sent it to her a while ago. She did a marvelous job. Will I make a video out of it sometime myself? Maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. but without further ado, I will present unto thee The Salesman's Nursery by yours truly. Well, let me just zoom in again. My god, why are the letters so small? Do I need glasses? I probably need glasses. Yeah. Alright then, where was I? Right. The Salesman's Nursery. He walks on all roads, since stories most old. Soft be his smile, as warmest as fire, showing our needs by lug or just ire. His tongue's a knife of silver, speaking words coated in gold. He knows all our crafts, and behold, on contracts of coal, the price may be all. Grass, bones, mere gold or a soul, before you he bows and shall mule, with eyes a shimmer like rosy jewels. He grants all desires, and ne'er he will tire, for the wicked 'tis what you choose, and the good best pay all their dues. Before you he swoons, and draws you with boons. The dark shuns all him, and the light swiftly dims, offering desires all we can fancy, wealth, lust, and meals as far you can see. Keep up your end, he will call, or you're done for and shall crawl. He snares you away if you cannot give pay. Thought you were smart when guiled from the start, and dragged to afar while burning in stars. You are forlorn and ne'er be reborn, in service and gore, till the end of us all. He walks on all roads, in stories most all. Soft be his smile, as warmest as fire, even as you plot and conspire. Bargains are made, he's served and is strayed. He knows how it ends before his offer is sent. And there we go, the Salesman's Nursery. A little something I wrote a few years ago with my own dark fantasy telling, story, world building stuff. Yes. So yeah, that's it. Still needs work in my opinion. Like, I'm not entirely familiar with poetic stanzas as I write them. Like, I can easily tell you how poems should be written and stuff like that, but when I do it, it's like, nah, that the rules go out of the window. Call me a hypocrite. Call me a hypocrite when it comes to that. Yeah. See, there we go. That is now in the description. Yes. Ah, that's a good little sippy sip. Now, it's about that time again. Let's do another break here. Another short little break. Another, shall we say, 5-ish minutes. And we'll convey back in my office. Now I invite you all to go to the waiting room. Have a little wait seats. And we'll be back very shortly. Yes, Jen, we'll see you later. I'd say have fun at work, but it's work. Anyway, have a good day, Jen. And I will see all of you in a few minutes. And welcome back to my office, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue the live stream. I won't take too long because cards on the table. It's 3:30 a.m. here, almost. So as you can probably tell, I will not make a stream until 6 or 5 a.m. That would be absolute madness. But that said, I'm not gonna stay until, 4 a.m. It will be a little later than 4 a.m. for me, so when I call it quits. I'm feeling a little too energetic now. Might as well go push through. Now, let's see here. There was talks of brownies and chocolate chip cookies in the chat, which caught my eye, because of course it catches my eye when food is involved. Brownies and chocolate chip cookies. I should probably go to the bakery tomorrow. Probably. Maybe I will. Oh yes, I will. Jinxie. Welcome back, Jinxie. Welcome back. We kind of miss you. I think you missed quite a lot, or you were very, very quiet in the chat. It's already past your bedtime, huh? I don't think that you mind or care that much, excuse me. There we go. What do we have next? Right. The horsey horse story. Now, I was saving this one for, I was saving this one for, Lady Spucaria, yes. I was saving this one for Lady Spucaria, but she is very busy. She does write her own stories that she also narrates at the same time, so I do not blame her at all for not being able to attend. But, once again, this Sunday, this weekend, I will be a guest on her live stream, so do keep an eye out when I post about that, when she has made the thumbnail and the waiting page for it. Now, as for the next story, not you, Umbra. I just read you. Go away. Gosh. Ew. I was there just had to make the kids some hot chocolate. Okay, because I thought you missed my own little poetic reading there. But okay, good to hear. Good to hear. No, hot chocolate. Oh god, brownies. Oh god, brownies with hot chocolate. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Brownies and hot chocolate all day. Good thing it's Saturday. I can actually do that. Now, for our next story. Another one that is about the length of the Umbra one. I think. A little longer, I think. Maybe. Also from PriestessOfSpiders. I did say that I had a bunch of them collected. From PriestessOfSpiders, this story is called The Worst Horse. Like I said, Lady Spucaria has a bit of a horse fascination going on, and this is a story I kind of saved for her. But again, I totally understand that she is very, very busy writing and narrating her own stories. I will, however, make a mention of it to her in private. Lulu, I had chocolate biscuits with a gooey chocolate center. Yummy. Oh god. Why? Why must you make me hungry, Lulu? What have I ever done to you? I bring you stories and insomnia, and this is how you repay me? Gosh, Lulu, now I'm hungry. That's not a good thing to be in at 3:30 a.m. to be hungry. But without further ado, first a little sip. Oh, that's the good stuff. Without further ado, from the PriestessOfSpiders, The Worst Horse. From the very first moment I saw one, I've always hated horses. I remember the event clearly, that first meeting with one of those wretched animals that shattered my innocence at such a young age. I must have been about 8 years old. My family was attending a country fair, and there was an advertisement for pony rides. Now, up until this point in my development, I never actually had seen a horse in the real world. I'd seen them in picture books, sure. I even owned a couple of toy ones, but I'd never seen an actual living horse. The shock of beholding the actual animal itself was a viscerally disturbing experience. Everything about it was wrong. The sour, sweaty smell, the two large eyes that seemed to eye me as soon as though I were prey, the sharp-tipped hoofs, and those horrible, enormous teeth. I watched the attendant give the pony a sugar cube from her hand and winced in terror at the thought of it simply biting down upon her fingers and snapping them like carrots. That is actually a very relatable fear, my god. Priestess of Spiders does it once more. I saw the banana taco comment there, Jinxie. How dare you take me out of my narration with that? How dare you? Oh no, wait, that's dreadful. Excuse me, no, retracting the how dare you. But yeah, banana taco is dreadful, what the hell? Now back to the narration. Biting down upon her fingers and snapping them like carrots. My parents must have thought that my wide-eyed, silent terror was due to being overwhelmed with excitement, because they wound up pushing me forwards, where the attendant held me up onto the pony. I wanted to scream as if I felt myself forced onto the hideous monster. I wanted to beg to be let off, but I was still utterly paralyzed with fear. The attendant began to lead the pony forwards, oblivious to my terror, but the pony knew how I felt. It knew I was afraid. Without warning, it broke free from the attendant's grasp, the rope loosely held in her hands slipping free quickly as the pony galloped forward. Young lady, I'm trying to read a horror story about a pony. How dare you make galloping noises on the stairs? Jesus. For the uninitiated, my desk is under my stairs. It's a wooden stair, by the way, and when one of those cats run up it, because I think someone has the zoomies, stuff happens. So yeah, kitty galore, kitty chaos galore. Where was I? Without warning, it broke free from the attendant's grasp, the rope loosely held in her hands, slipping free quickly as the pony galloped forward as fast as it could. Finally, I found my voice and began to scream to be let off, to get away from this monster. I got my wish sooner than I had guessed. The pony bucked, and I found myself flying through the air, crashing into a fence with a gut-wrenching snap as my arm broke from the force, and I experienced the worst pain I had ever felt up to that point in my life. Blinking tears out of my eyes, I watched as the maddened pony began to rush towards me, seemingly preparing to finish the job. Mercifully, it was at that point I fainted. Ultimately, I was mostly okay, at least physically. There was no lasting damage, as it was a clean break which healed up nicely. The otherwise incompetent attendant successfully managed to keep the pony from ramming into me in the nick of time. Emotionally, however, I would never be quite the same again. It was the first time in my entire life that I was actually genuinely afraid of dying. And that changes you. My parents never believed me when I told them that I knew I hated horses from the first instant I saw the pony. They always assumed it was simply a false memory, that I was projecting my trauma backwards. But I know the truth. From the very moment I looked at that disgusting animal, I knew there was something terribly wrong with horses. All this was decades ago, of course. I'm an adult now, more than in fact. I'm retired, a senior citizen, as they say. I suppose people have started to get offended by the term old woman. My parents are long since dead and buried, and in all honesty, I'm very likely to join them soon. Perhaps sooner than I deserve. My home out in the country isn't especially large, nor especially extravagant, and until now it has served its ultimate purpose quite well, to be somewhere cheap where I can live out the rest of my days in relative comfort. It is a simple old farmhouse, small but with 2 stories, in good repair and relatively easy to maintain, even at my age. The major downside is that it is fairly isolated from the rest of the world, surrounded by fields as far as the eye can see, but up until recently that felt like more of a blessing than a curse. Now, however, I long to be in the city, surrounded by concrete and people far, far away from this place. All because of the horse. I cannot help but capitalize the word when I refer to this animal, for it is surely the purest and most hateful representative of its kind. It is a horse to surpass all other horses, the most foul and despicable member of a species characterized by foulness and despicability. It is, to put it quite simply, the worst horse. My first encounter with the worst horse was a few weeks ago now, I think, perhaps a month, though I must admit I'm unsure about the exact date. I was out hanging up some clothes to dry, and I recall it was a fairly pleasant sunny day, or at least it was until the exact moment I saw the horse. Almost instantly, the wind seemed to pick up, rustling the tall grass and putting all chill in my bones. A cloud passed over the sun, darkening the sky faintly as I stared at the creature across the field. It was staring back at me. Living out in the country, it is not entirely rare to see the occasional horse. It is simply an unfortunate fact of life, and as much as I despise the creatures, it is not within my power to criminalize the act of riding one. However, it is considerably less common to see one unbridled and unmounted, standing utterly still and staring at you with assuredly malicious intent. I was obviously deeply uncomfortable and found myself paralyzed, as if I were once again the frightened little girl confronted by that fairground pony. The horse was similarly motionless. I am not a religious woman, laugh at me all you want, but it always felt difficult to keep faith after my first interaction with a horse. I couldn't reconcile the existence of a benevolent creator with the existence of horses. In that moment, however, I wish I had something to pray to. At first I couldn't quite tell what was causing such an extreme reaction. It was a shock, to be sure, but I'm a grown woman, not a scared child. I shouldn't be reduced to a quivering statue from the mere sight of my phobia hundreds of feet away. It took me a few moments to realize that it was the horse's eyes that had disturbed me. Most herbivores, horses and their damnable ilk included, have eyes that face sideways in order to give them a better field of view to spot predators. The forward-facing eyes, typical of wolves, lions, and other such animals, are due to their need to effectively hunt down and kill prey. The worst horse had eyes which faced forwards. As I came to this uncomfortable realization, a crow went flying past the horse, its cawing echoing back towards me across the tall grass. There was a flash of movement. The bird's cry was interrupted with an abrupt crunch. The horse chewed the mass of the blood-stained black feathers for a moment before swallowing the pulverized bird with a disgusting gulping motion. It was at this moment I was able to successfully remember how to move again, and found myself running into the house in a daze, locking and bolting the door behind me before running to grab the shotgun I keep in a locked case for emergencies. By the time I had finished fiddling with the lock and loading the shells, the horse was long gone. I thought I can hardly imagine where it could have vanished to. There is nowhere to hide in these vast empty fields, and I should have been able to see it even if it had traveled a mile away. I was hesitant to relay my encounter to any of my acquaintances. I have a few living friends, and due to never marrying have borne no children, but I do keep in contact with my brother on a somewhat regular basis, and generally try to call him whenever anything interesting happens. In this case, however, I worry that he may question my sanity. Tales of disappearing carnivorous horses are hardly a sign of mental stability after all. This is not to mention the fact that he is well aware of my aversion to horses and treats it somewhat disrespectfully as a bit of a joke. Given the probability of being treated like a lunatic or a clown, I decided to keep the entire affair to myself. Madam, no. I'm trying to read here. Thank you. A little attention, princess. Opportunity to take a sippy sip. Yum yum. A few days passed before I saw the worst horse again, although that didn't stop me from feeling paranoid whenever I dared to go outside in the meantime. It was around 11 o'clock at night, and I had woken up in bed with a most unnerving feeling of being watched. My bedroom is on the second story of the house, perhaps not a good idea at my age, but frankly, I always liked the slight bit of exercise from going up and down the stairs. This made it particularly disturbing to see the horse's long, terrible face staring at me hungrily through my bedroom window. I found myself once again paralyzed, feeling rather as though I were a rat staring up at a king cobra. I must have sat there for minutes, eyes wide in pure terror of that hateful, terrible horse. It was slightly too dark to get a very clear look at it, but I could make out those evil, predatory eyes and a faint gleam of its teeth. I could swear neither of us blinked during the whole time we watched one another. Eventually, the face lowered down beneath the windowsill, slowly, maintaining eye contact until the last possible moment. I heard a faint snort after that, for the life of me sounded like laughter, followed by the clopping of hoofs as it rode off into the night. I didn't see the worst horse for a while after that, but I could tell it was still lurking around the property. I would find piles of dung with shattered bits of bone sticking out of them, and would occasionally hear the faint sound of whinnies or the clopping of the hoofs drift down on the breeze. On one occasion I heard it skulking about the back of my house, snorting with that derisive, almost human laughter. I just kept very still, waiting for it to go away. There was another sound, a sort of gagging, retching noise, followed with a wet splat that made me feel sick to my stomach, and I could hear the horse galloping off. I waited for a good while before checking the back door to make sure it was gone. When I did, cautiously creaking open the door ever so slowly, I found a pile of hundreds of faintly yellowed horse teeth on the back porch, covered in a thick translucent slime. I put on some disposable rubber gloves and tossed them all into the garbage. I took to leaving the gun case unlocked, and would frequently wander around the house with the loaded shotgun in my hands. I didn't leave the house very often anymore. I was always just waiting and listening for that infernal horse to come back. I still didn't tell my brother. This was just something I felt I had to deal with on my own. It was 3 days ago when I woke up in the middle of the night to loud thumping hoofbeats, as if the horse was trying to break down the walls. This time I was prepared. I had fallen asleep with the shotgun leaning on the wall by the bed, and I was fully ready to use it. I had taken to sleeping fully clothed, so after putting on my shoes I marched outside looking for any sign of that awful, terrible, wretched horse. I found it. It stood atop of the house, silhouetted against the full moon, staring down at me with those ghastly forward-facing eyes. This was the first time I'd seen the worst horse up close and clearly, and it was so much worse than I could have ever imagined. It opened its jaws in a wide yawn, revealing rows upon rows of blunted, huge teeth, seeming to occupy almost the entirety of its mouth. Its fur was covered in a thick, frothy sweat, typical of horses, but it seemed slightly yellow in color and gave off a noxious steam in the night air, as if it was some sort of acid. The worst part, however, were the legs. Did you know that horses' legs are anatomically speaking toes? The reason there is but a single hoof is because that is its toenail. There is a medical condition called, polydactyly, in which one possesses additional fingers or toes. In horses, this typically results in additional smaller hooves sticking out at odd angles from the rest of the leg. In the case of the worst horse, however, it just meant it had multiple stunted, twisted limbs branching out where they ought not to be, some just twitching faintly, others sprawled against the roof of the house like some sort of horrible spider. I wanted to kill it. I wanted to unload 2 barrels of hot lead into the thing's disgusting, horrific form, to end this nightmare and allow me to live out the rest of my life in peace. I raised the gun to my shoulder and took aim, lining up both barrels to the horse's general direction as best I could with my shaking arms. The horse took a step closer, still staring, daring me to act, daring me to pull both triggers. I couldn't do it. I couldn't will my fingers to move. It was as if I was a statue. My mind screamed at me over and over, overwhelmed with hate and fear, shrieking out, "Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it!" But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do anything. The horse whinnied with cruel, inhuman laughter before scuttling off the roof and galloping away, the echoes of its foul giggling fading away into the night. I fell to the ground on my hands and knees and began to sob. As soon as it was morning, I went out to call my brother, to tell him everything that had happened and to beg him to let me stay with him and get away from this awful place and the worst horse. I didn't care if he laughed at me. I didn't care if he tried to get me institutionalized. I just wanted to be out of this place. I dialed his phone number, but nothing happened. There wasn't so much as a dial tone. I tried again and again and again. The phone line had been disconnected. Something had cut the wire. I was sure that if I ran outside to check, I would find that it had been severed with a set of far too many blunt equine teeth. I decided to simply drive down to the city, get a hotel and call my brother from there. I packed a small bag and was about to get into the car when I noticed how low it was sitting upon the driveway. I inspected closer to find that each and every tire was completely flat, as though they had been kicked repeatedly by sharp, stiff hooves. I was stranded. I'm trapped here. I don't know why I've been writing this all down. In all likelihood, none of this will ever be read. I suppose I just want to get it out of my head, to set everything down on paper to organize my thoughts. The worst horse has been circling the house for a while now, day and night, just running around in it in circles and whining. At first, it was perhaps 100 yards away, but it's been getting progressively closer and closer, spiraling in towards the house. I keep the shotgun with me at all times now, though I'm not sure if I intend to use it to fend off my tormentor. Or in case I prefer an easy way out rather than being left at the mercy of its sharpened hooves and rows of blunt teeth. I wrote earlier that I didn't believe in God, but that's not entirely true anymore. I think that the worst horse is God, and I know in my heart of hearts that it hates me just as much as I hate it. The above note was recovered from the home of Gladys Rosewood in the summer of 1990, after a wellness check was called in by her brother, Stephen Rosewood. Police found that her home appeared to have been broken into, with the doors smashed in and significant signs of struggle within the house itself. A double-barreled hunting shotgun was found on the premises. One shell fired and pellets of buckshot were found embedded in a wall nearby. There was no sign of Miss Rosewood anywhere on the property, and it is unclear where she could have gone. Most curiously, dozens of muddy hoof prints were found through the premises, including on the walls and ceilings. Further investigation has failed to locate Miss Rosewood, and due to the absence of any additional evidence, the case is considered cold, and she has been declared dead in absentia. And there we have it, The Worst Horse by Priestess of Spiders. Once again, a great story from Priestess of Spiders. Hey, it's Spooky. Welcome, Spooky. Hello. It's funny because I've been saying throughout the stream that I have a story just for you in here. The horse story. If it was a horse. I don't know. It sounded very, very weird. Sounded very weird for a horse. That was something else. That was something else. I honestly do not know what to think of this. That was actually a great story, all the way from the start to the build-up, and how the horse was described with having forward-facing eyes and multiple legs and the double hoof thing, or the additional hoof thing. That's, oh god, that was ugh. Horse straight from hell, if you ask me. God damn. Yes, Lulu, that was a great story. I actually enjoyed that very much. It was lengthier than I expected. Right, let me have a little sip of the special Torment juice. Oh god, I love that. Oh, that was a good one. Lady Spookaria. It sounds a bit like a story I wrote. The host of Humanites. Ew. Why would you write about a horse with human eyes? Why? Why, lady? Why? Ew. That's not very wee of you. Okay, that's just no. Lulu, I thought the horse would be the devil. Oh, that horse definitely was. That horse definitely was. Let me just put it in the description. The worst horse. Like, it's such a simple name, but when you know the context, that simple name, the worst horse, just doesn't do it justice. That's a wow. Okay, PriestessOfSpiders, I'm so happy to have contacted you about narrating stories of yours. Thank you very much. If you ever listen to this stream, thank you very much for allowing me to do so. Good lord, that was a pungent little story. Oof. And took me by surprise. But the spooky, what's this about your story about the horsey? Did you already narrate it by chance? If so, I might have a look at your channel again tomorrow. Well, why wait tomorrow, I say. Alright. Here we go. Just gonna put that one on for the bed. When I quit the stream. What's screen? Stream. Miss Bucaria, the horse with human eyes. Let's see. There we go. Oh, good lord, that's an actual... Oh, good lord, I actually found it 2 years ago. Hold on, let me just... Shush. Advertisements, go away. Let me just send that link to my private account. Because on my private account, I have YouTube Premium, so I'm not bothered with ads about... What the hell is this even? HeroWars.com. Go away. Nobody likes you, Hero Wars. Yeah. I'ma go watch that. I'm gonna go watch that. Oh, by the way, Spooky, just so you know, but you will be pinged, that you will be tagged in this live stream because of a special mention I've been doing throughout the stream. You and a couple of others. Jinxie has been kind enough to make me a list, but just so you know that there will be a tag as a special mention in the stream. Let me see, where was I? There's that one. There's a certain... Where are you? So when I end the stream, I will end with a poem, as always. And it will be a Lovecraft poem, because who doesn't love a Lovecraft poem? And yes, it is in theme with Halloween too. So there's something to look forward to. And yes, Spooky, that isn't that is indeed how I went in the first 5 minutes starting this stream. Oh, by the way, people, Sunday, Lady Spookaria, I will be a guest on her channel. I am being kept hostage. Please save me, help me. But no, people are aware, and I did say I will share as soon as you've made a waiting page for it, or whatever it's called with live streams. You know, the countdown thing. As soon as that's up, you can be rest assured that I will be sharing it on all my socials. What are you? Oh, hello. Hello, kitty. Hello. Yeah. Kitty cat wants a little bit of attention because, of course, she wants attention. No singing though, that's new. Oh, what are you? Oh no, not you. Go away. You. Don't you use me as a scratching pole? How dare you? Ooh, I may have another poetic reading of myself, by the way, which is a bit more narrative, more story-driven. What do you guys think? Is that something you want to hear? Now, I will reiterate, it is a dark fantasy telling. It's not particularly horror, but I wouldn't say it's light-hearted as well. I wouldn't say it's light-hearted, so... But yeah, is that something you guys want to hear then? It is a little longer than the Salesman Nursery stuff too. I don't know, unless you're like, oh boo, we don't want to hear your poetry, buzz off. Which, you know, fair. Okie dokie, Lulu says, yes please. Alright, Lulu says yes please. And how about the rest? What says all the rest? Let your voices be heard, let me know, let me know. It's gonna be so much fun, yeah? Yes. Yes. What the hell did I just say? Ew. Ew. Did I really just say that? Ew. Eldrick says go for it. Okie dokie. Well, that's two people. Well, two people have so far said yes. Alright, if everybody else is gonna be quiet, I'm just gonna bore you with my own writings then. Sure, sure. Let me just get it here. So then, this one is called Duel with the Emperor. Yes. We are going with all the cliches today. So there's a little bit of text also to add a little bit of context, if you will. Not too much, of course. Alright, then here we go. Duel with the Emperor by yours truly. Of the tales sung by the surviving elves of Alan, few reminded them of their former glory as the uprising of Endin Rhodanor the Unchained. Once the Lord of the Towers and Border Warden for Elan and the King Bellant, he was captured and enslaved in an ambush outside of Saloth Galan. By the way, if none of these names sound familiar, don't worry, I'm not going to give you any context. Long had that place been saved under his valor and leadership, and indeed some would say that he and the blessing of Lucifer herself as his eyes shone with divine wrath upon his foes. Rhodanor planned a great escape and rebellion since that day, and when news dripped into the dungeons that the northern regions freed themselves from imperial grasp, he saw an opportunity to rid the world of evil. He led a slave uprising within the very heart of the Imperium. He who overcame the guard of the palace itself, he who came before Shivaran the Dreaded upon his high throne. So began a contest of songs weaved in power between the last emperor and the slave unchained. For Rhodanor's power was great, far beyond the skill of a noble of his folk by all the suffering he endured under the whip and iron boot of the Imperium. All his anguish he unleashed in a woven song of power, meant to topple the highest of all man in defeat and humility. Yet Shivaran wielded absolute mastery, and knew of the unrecorded crimes the elves committed in the past, further aided by his strong connection to Arbura. So began the duel of songs between Rhodanor and Shivaran. Here we go. He wove a woesome song of sorcery, of cunning bleeding between moss and trees, uncovers sorrow of lost treacheries, of sad unwritten histories, of fates steered by unseen calamity. By eyes sanguine afar in schemery. And yet Rhodanor there stood undaunted. He bound a new song arraying, resisting the dread one's call, of secrets held mighty as walls. His chains broken, and at last escaped of changing men and shifting fates, to stand the western darker shapes, while unbroken and never he fled, dungeons now empty and slaves untrapped. The sea once more, heavenly skies, bidding all to fly and fight, for silver lands and breaths of sea, for warm winds blowing that now have ceased, to stride across the pearl-laced straits, to once more pass home's golden gates. Oh, there's also a bit of dialogue I put in between. So this is from Mr. Rhodanor. Ere she comes from fair Milan, still I call on Our Lady of Light. What is the fate for one so marred? Lost you will be even to Arbura. To which the Emperor replies, Art thou then he to guide me far? Thine flesh worldly still, not mine is the mar. And back to the poem. From day to night reared their song, pillars rumbled on foundation strong. Rodonor casts power and tongue, and all his strength and crafts he flung. As Elanquan graced his words, deep in the night returned the birds. Our chosen lord of the towers, he sang for times for peace and flowers. Over high peaks and waves of sea, the sun's light reached him finally. In splendid realms of meadowed grounds, hear trumpets loud and fountains round. Beyond all woes and beyond all woes and flames of war, amber bells sound grace of yore. Between western seas and eastern sands, the emperor fell, he could not stand. And the emperor says one last thing there. Lord of towers, hast thou forgotten all sins you wrought? Such courage now, whilst the red past still lingers and rots. And to which we go to the final part of the poem. Then darkness swirling, old shadows growing. In old sojourn, a great red tide flowing. The shame Endin brought, unjust death to those that never fought. Within those woods the elves slew the other wonder elves, and bled children new. Astride wild steeds, armed with long spears, the widows wailing lived their fears. With valor low they left none to flee, fair blood sputters into waves of the sea. The crows come to corpse hills foul, under cold shrouds dread wolves howl. Stars and moon veiled high above, for gentle folk that now were lost. The dread one stood tall again, his ice-cold shape above hope and vain. Chains clinging and torment unheard, gloom dungeons roared and cruelty stirred. Dark forts rumble, blue pyres burn. Still Endin fell before the last emperor. And that is it. Duel with the Emperor, written by yours truly. As I promised, a little more lengthier than Nursery's rhyme, a little more story-driven, if you want to say it like that. Sure. But that is it. What you think? Let me know. Could have pronounced a few things a little better though. But then again, I'm working at past 4 AM here. Thank you, Lulu, for your support as always. And thank you, Spooky. Thank you very much. I should probably put that in the description. Hold on. By yours truly. Actually, let's make that another name. There we go. Nice and short. Like that. We like nice and short around here. How long has this stream been going on? How long have we been going on? Oh, about 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's fair. I think in about 15 minutes I'm gonna call it quits though. So the stream would have been lasting for 3.5 hours? 3.5 hours. That should be more than enough. Let's hang out for a little bit. Got to rest. Rest the voices a little bit. I also need to urge for any viewers that are still watching that the Q&A is still on. So any questions, do ask them within reason, of course. What are you doing, little girl? I'm talking to my cats, by the way, for anyone wondering. Hello. Are you upset because I'm not upstairs yet? Yes. I know. Little attention suck up you, ye. Eldric the Elder. I felt a bit of Tolkien there. I loved it. Well, thank you for loving it. And, well, bit of a confession. Lady Spacaria already knows this, but I am a bit of a Tolkien nerd. Geek. Walking encyclopedia at this point. But, yeah. Big Tolkien fan myself. I read the Silmarillion every 3 months. Religiously, you might say. It is my Bible. Hello, kitty. Can't you see I'm busy? It is my drink. Do not drink my drink. You do not want to drink my drink. No, you don't. Hey. Miss, Miss, are you trying to hijack my microphone now? What are you trying to do? What's the idea? What's the idea? They can't see you. The camera's not on. You attention depraved kitty cat. I also want to say something else. But I cannot cuss. I'm not allowed to cuss. Thank you, YouTube. Ugh, family friendly rules. Alright, so I don't think anyone's gonna be in the Q&A anymore, so let me just close that. It's not like it has been any questions can still be asked in the chat itself. There we go. Boop. Or in the comments if you're a future viewer. And yeah, Spooky, it is definitely her microphone now because she's been rubbing her face in it. And now she's rubbing her face at my glass. Why? Why would you do this? I'm trying to drink from that. Why? Little miss, I want attention. That's my... If there's hairs in my drink, I will be slightly upset. I will cry. No, you're right, I will. I will sob, probably, but not cry outright. You're right. Yes, yes. Wanna sit on the lap? No? You wanna... Yeah, you wanna buzz off. Alright, got it. Jeez, give her attention once and then she's done with you. Basically like, yeah, I got what I wanted. See ya. Gonna sit down on your laundry right now. Alright, thank you. Thank you for sitting down on my laundry, miss. Love it. Much appreciato. Oh, welcome back on the desk. That was quick. Hello. Just stare at me with veiled contempt. Alright, got it. I do that myself. Hell, I do it every morning in the mirror. But I don't veil my contempt for myself. No, Missy, not like you. I don't use veil. Oh, yeah, that's not a veil. That was an actual scratch. Wow. Aggressive. Oh, Miss Scratchy Scratchy Scratch. Yes, you. And then you want attention again. I'll never... You confound me, madam. You simply confound me. As beautiful as you are, you confound me. Remind me next time on stream that I will put on pictures of the cats on screen. Just so everybody knows who the hell I'm talking to. Must be so weird if you're new in the stream, you just hop in or something, you hear me talking like that. Like, yes, you. We're talking about you, madam. Squishy squish. Let me see. I'll do one more mini creepypasta, or whatever that's called. What was it called again? Mini pasta? I know we had our own word for it, but... Micropasta, that's the one. Of course it's being difficult. Because why not? Why not? Why should it be simple? Are you upset that I'm not in bed yet? Don't worry, I'm not long. It's not long, it's not long. Right, so here's one. The Foreboding by Snaketongue. A short little micropasta. It will be the last story reading, but after that I have a poem to finish. A Lovecraft poem, as I always like to finish. So here we go. The Foreboding. I keep having the same dream every night. It's a recurring nightmare that I just can't seem to push out of my head. At about 4 in the morning, I always wake up drenched in a cold sweat. Sometimes I'm screaming. But as hard as I try, I can never seem to remember exactly what it was I was dreaming about. All I can recall are the smallest details. The emotion of dread, the feeling of a jerk in my stomach, and gripping something in front of me very tightly in the dream before I awaken. I think it might be some kind of warning, a premonition of something that is to go terribly wrong. But what? What could it possibly be? Paranoia has taken over my mind and body. Everywhere I go, I live in constant fear that someone or something is hunting me down. This tension reaches a peak one day when I am driving home from work. I noticed that the car behind me took the same turn as I did. Initially thinking that we must be going in the same direction, I did nothing. Then we made the same turn again and again. I felt the fear well up from deep within, and I began to accelerate. When we made the same turn once more, I began to drive 10 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, constantly looking behind me and at the rear view mirror. It was too late to see the little kid on the bike when he swerved in front of my car. When I slammed on the brakes, I felt a sudden jerk in my stomach, and my hands gripped the steering column tightly as the kid takes the full body hit to my car and makes it partially under the first set of tires. There we go, there we go. The Foreboding by Snaketongue. Like I said, a micropasta. Rather short, very effective, very graphic. Well, not that graphic, but still, that's quite an image to put in your head. I like the build-up there. As always, build-up is key to everything. That was the 9th. Whoop. There we go. And of course the link to. Here we go. Put that in the description. Yeah. There we go. Then for the last reading of today, and then we have to say goodbye. It will be a Lovecraft poem, still in the spirit of Halloween. It is called Hallowe'en in a Suburb. Mind that I'm also guest narrating this particular poem to Tapes of Trepidation as well, which will come out in about around Halloween. So if you have not yet subscribed to Tapes of Trepidation, don't worry, there will be a link down below in the description as well. And I also highly recommend going on Spotify, give them a follow, and you'll see that particular poem spring up as well. But now, without further ado, Hallowe'en in a Suburb by H.P. Lovecraft. The steeples are white in the wild moonlight, and the trees have a silver glare. Past the chimneys high, see the vampires fly, and the harpies of upper air that flutter and laugh and stare. For the village, dead to the moon outspread, never shone in the sunset's gleam, but grew out of the deep that the dead years keep, where the rivers of madness stream down the gulfs to a pit of a dream. A chill wind blows through the rows of sheaves in the meadows that shimmer pale, and comes to twine where the headstones shine, and the ghouls of the churchyard wail, where for harvests that fly and fail. Not a breath of the strange grey gods of change that tore from the past its own can quicken this hour, when a spectral power spreads sleep over the cosmic throne and looses the vast unknown. So here again stretch the vale and plain that moons long forgotten saw, and the dead leap gay in the pallid ray, sprung out of the tomb's black maw to shake all the world with awe. And all that the morn shall greet forlorn, the ugliness and the pest of rows where thick rise the stones and brick, shall some day be with the rest, and brood with the shades unblessed. Then wild in the dark let the lemurs bark, let the leprous spires ascend, for new and old alike in the fold of horror and death are penned, for the hounds of time to rend. And there we go, Hallowe'en in a Suburb by H.P. Lovecraft. I've no idea what language that was. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I have no idea what that language was. Probably the made-up language between me and Late Spukaria. But hey, who knows? Yeah, who knows? Let me see. Special guest mentions. Okie dokie. It's fine. Everything is fine. No, it is not spooky. It is not. It's over 4:30 a.m. That's a good. And the drink made it all okay. But yeah, I think this is about where we will end the stream, I think. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Oh. Lulu says, thank you, DrTorment. It's been a great night. I've enjoyed all the readings. You are very much welcome, Lulu. It's been a while since we did another live stream. I cannot promise that they will happen more frequently. Yes, Cindy. Yes, I am still on. Don't worry about it. I was just about to do the outro. But as I was saying... Where was I? Now, I know live stream has been a while. Again, the September technical issue just crapped all over it. It's, wow. And with August being 2 streams a week with guests, let me tell you, I was not really in the mood to do a live stream at all for a while. Especially after the September technical issue. But I'm not saying that this will happen more often, the live streams, but I will at least try. I will at least try to do twice a month, and at the very least once a month. You know, because at the end of the day, this channel is more a story channel, or at least I want to lean more towards a story channel than to be a live streamer all the time. But I do enjoy that we are spending time together and getting to interact with you people outside of Discord, which I will touch upon later. So then, without further ado, I'm going to end the stream here. It's been a lovely time. I enjoyed the stories here. Priestess of Spiders, if you are looking into the stream later, I hope you will. Thank you for giving me the permission to read your stories. They were absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to make separate videos out of them as well. You will, of course, always be credited, and you will always be in the know via the Reddit chat. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, with this, I will bid you adieu. Please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. Do also consider maybe wanting to support the channel either via Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, be a channel member. It doesn't really matter. Choose whatever you want to do, I suppose. Then, like I said... Oh, no, I forgot one other thing. I do have a Discord server. If you want to hang out and want me to reply more often, by all means. We do all kinds of crazy stuff over there. We even have movie nights every now and then. So, please, come join. And of course, if you are a storyteller yourself, I do have a subreddit. You can post your story there, and I will slot it in my own schedule to narrate with permission, of course. Now then, this has been DrTorment bidding you adieu. And remember, don't fall asleep ever.